Good evening, this is ArmondBrundridge, just doing an interview for Project Compassion for ArmondBrundridge. So I'll just go down the questions and then answer them accordingly. First question is, how do you define compassion? I think compassion is essentially just putting your needs before someone else. It's when that one person is down and you're willing to pick them up. A kind of a simplistic way of saying it, but I think that's kind of what captures the essence of it, really. Number two, explain what you think motivates people to act compassionately. I think it's a mix of sympathy and empathy. I think it's identifying, someone in that place, right? You may have been there before. That would be empathy, and you're willing to pick them up. Or you could just have an open mind about things, and just identify that person is in a troubled spot, and you'd be willing to help them just because you understand. You may not have been there in their place, but you understand that feeling of trouble that they're in. So you would be willing to help them, or I think that's just what motivates people to act compassionately. Number three, describe what factors determine how and when we act with compassion. I think it's really two factors that come to mind. One is we find the person in need to be worthy of compassion. I think it just means that we think that this person is like us. It's someone worth, I guess, fighting for, per se. You find that they're worthy, and if you're someone who thinks that everyone's worthy of compassion, then you think that maybe everyone's worthy of good and worthy of being fought for. It's kind of like a altruistic way of thought, if that makes sense. And then the other factor would be whether or not we feel we have the power to reach out. So this is kind of more of a call to action than a state of mind, per se. Next question. Explain if you believe there are any limits to compassion. What are they, and why do they exist? Well, this is actually the last question. My bad. But I think the factors in question number three correlate with the limitations. So you have the first factor I brought up, whether or not we feel people are worthy of it. And there could be a limit to this, obviously, as I said. I mean, if you don't believe that, if you don't believe that everyone is worthy of it, then, you're maybe your mind isn't open enough to the idea that, this person could be worthy of it. And I think that just depends on having an open mind. I think we have a default switch, right? And that default switch in our head is what prevents us from, seeing the world outside of our own world, per se. I mean, it's kind of like having a self-centered attitude. And I mean, anyone has that capability. Like I said, it's like a default switch. It's, I think it's important to just keep, having an open mind about things, explore like literature and, any form of art. I think those things are what takes us out of our default switch. And the other limitation with the second factor being, feeling that we have the power to reach out. I think that's just, a discipline. I think it's something we need to train on ourselves to be able to act accordingly if someone is in need, because I know that, for me, sometimes I'll feel strongly about, wanting to help someone, but feeling powerless not to do so. It's kind of something I've been working on myself, but I think the factors correlate with its limitations, whether or not you have practiced an open mind and you've disciplined yourself to act accordingly given the situation at hand. But one is a state of mind and one is a call to action. Anyway, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I think this is kind of an interesting set of questions to ponder. Other than that, I hope you have a nice day, and thank you for the time. Have a good one. This is ArmondBrundridge for Project Compassion. Bye.